Hello, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
All right, I think I'm good to start if you guys are.
I'm good to go. Or I guess I am. I'm recording.
Cool.
Good on my end.
All right, sweet. Welcome to the show. Happy March, everybody. It is here.
It's March o'clock.
It's March o'clock. It sure is. It is March. Welcome in, listeners. Hope you are doing well. Josh, what's up, man? How's your week?
I'm doing great. I apologize for being late. I had every intention of getting here on time and doing a good podcast with you guys, and then out of the corner of my eye in a parking lot at the hotel 2 blocks over, I saw the Wienermobile and I had to go
Wow.
over real quick. So I'm 10 minutes late because I spent 15 minutes walking over, adding 4 blocks to my normal 1 block routine to go look at the Wienermobile and take a few pictures.
That's
So
incredible.
it was just as glorious as ever. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, did you get a chance to talk to like the driver or the owner?
No one was in. So
Okay.
I think they were in the hotel, unfortunately.
Oh, sad.
So it's fine. It's whatever.
Well, had I known, Johnny and I would have flown down to Dallas and we would have done a live show from the
We would have done it
Wienermobile.
within the Wienermobile, exactly.
Yeah, ideally inside of it, but at
I think
worst,
so.
just directly adjacent. to
I
it.
saw there are 4 seats in there, 1 for the driver, 3 for us. So
Yes.
I think it would be exactly enough for us.
That's amazing. How many?
It
Do we
is.
know how many there are? Because I was under
It's a great question.
the impression that there were only like 2 of them, but I just saw a TikTok with the Wienermobile, and not that it couldn't have been like a day, like it couldn't have taken place yesterday or the day before, but maybe I'm way in the wrong that there's more than just 2.
Awesome. You guys, welcome to our show that is just what we're following, because I'm going to spend an hour giving you guys the Wienermobile history. There are 6 currently in operation.
Okay, so more than I thought, but
Um,
still not very many.
yes.
Still extremely rare.
The one that I saw, and I don't know if you are a Wienermobile tracker, if you're an enthusiast who tracks them like a train spotter across the country, but mine, the license plate said Yummy. I'm assuming not all
Wow.
of them say Yummy, so we will see. At Super Bowl 57, in February 2023, during the Super Bowl 57 weekend, an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in Las Vegas had its catalytic converter stolen,
Oh no.
which is great. PETA offered to
Oh,
pay
no.
for the replacement parts and maintenance with one small request. Can you guess what the request is?
That everything's vegetarian.
Exactly. If they
Yeah.
converted it into a vegan hot dog mobile, which I can assure you
Gross.
does not have the same ring to it.
No.
Not a hot dog.
Yeah.
I listen, and I'll be the first to say I like Impossible Meat. The Impossible sausage
Josh.
is really good. No. Johnny, have you had it? I don't pretend that it's meat. I'm not pretending it's meat. I know it's some black bean conglomeration.
Well, that's better then. That's fine.
I'm
That's
not pretending
When
it's
people
meat.
tell me it tastes just like a burger, I'm
No.
like, no.
No, it doesn't.
You can say it's good. You just
It's
can't
good.
claim it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's its own thing, and what it is pretty solid. Legitimately hard to eat, but I can't. Come on, PETA. I'll chip in 600. I mean, it's $600, $1,000 to get your catalytic converter replaced. I don't know for the Wienermobile. I don't know. You can't just go to O'Reilly's and I got a '98 Wienermobile. I don't
I'm
think
sure
they.
it's just all the same.
I don't think they have that in the catalog.
Yeah. Johnny, what's
Who
up,
knows?
man? How's your week?
Good week. Aaron and I celebrated it being March by going to the OSU Michigan game yesterday. Wow.
Oh,
And obviously this comes from a Buckeye fan. So take it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, I don't think I've ever seen a worse Michigan basketball team in my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And Ohio State is not good, but they're not that. And I think the scoreboard reflected properly with I believe it was a 23-point win.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that was with like 15 Ohio State turnovers.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
We might have both teams looking for new head coaches in the offseason.
Yeah. I hope not, for Michigan's sake. We would love Juwan Howard
Oh, I'd
to
love for
stay
him to
there
stay.
for eternity.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah,
Here,
no,
great guy.
I'm with
great
you.
guy.
Yes, Johnny, that was a lot of fun. We did it to celebrate March. We also did it to celebrate your birthday. So happy birthday.
oh, happy birthday! Take a W. Take a W.
Yeah, Ohio State
More
gave you a
importantly,
nice little present.
More importantly, take a Michigan L.
Well, I threatened by jumping in Mirror Lake headfirst to join Afro Duck in the afterlife if they lost to this version of Michigan basketball. So luckily,
Crisis averted.
Good job,
it was
everyone.
fairly obvious early on that was probably not going to be necessary.
Yeah.
But
I personally enjoyed Zed Key just dunking on the entire state of Michigan like a minute into that game. That was great. And
So good.
it was a good experience. Relatively packed environment for Value City Arena. We've talked about this at length. We will probably still talk about it moving on in the future. Please just move to St. John's. Even for Ohio State Michigan game with the number of people that were in that building, still a little quiet, but whatever.
yeah,
That's not what we're talking about today. I will say that we were leaving the arena and we waited till the end. We kind of did the Carmen, Ohio thing at the end, then we walked out with everybody. And so we're just in a big line of people walking back to our car. And I turn and look to my right, and standing basically right next to me is Aaron Kraft
Oh,
and his wife and his kids. Just like a common person, just walking back to his car after
Like
an
a
Ohio
guy.
State victory. And I didn't say anything because he's my favorite Ohio State college player, maybe even football included in that. Love the guy. I've got really, he's great. Unless you rooted against Ohio State, then you hated him. But love it. So, but I wasn't going to say like, hey man, I think you're great. I don't need to do that. He's with his family and kids. He just needs to enjoy that time. But it was just so surreal. Like I was like, well, that's kind of just my favorite Ohio State athlete.
Remember what we used to have?
Yeah, that's true. Remember the good old days?
do you remember?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the conversation I should have had with him. Just turn around, shake his head, like, hey, you're my favorite player.
What happened?
What? Yeah, for real. But
You
it's
wanna
also
coach?
funny too, because if you didn't like grow up watching him play, you would have no idea. He's one of Ohio
He's the
State's
most
best
normal.
players. Yeah, he's like 6 foot, just normal looking guy. But it was anyways. So that was just very, very funny. And then we got back to our car and went to the drive-thru of Cane's, like you should after an Ohio State
like you
victory.
should.
Down to box combo, and it's a good night. A good night. And it's getting even better because we are here in the year of our Lord 2024, as Josh said last week, the month of March in the year of our Lord. We've done it. We've made it. Right now, as we're recording on March 4th, it's a Monday, conference tournaments have started. The Atlantic Sun is kicking off everything. A couple of first round games. There are, I believe, 3 more tournaments that start tomorrow. There's 3 more tournaments that start the day after that. We are in it. It's 2 weeks of just pure magic and basketball for 14 days before even the big March Madness tournament. So because of that, we're going to do something that we've enjoyed doing together, the 3 of us, for years. Even before we did this podcast, we would always just entertain ourselves with looking at all these conference brackets and picking a random team that we wanted to root for, sometimes because we appreciate the kind of basketball they play, or we like a certain player, or we're rooting for an underdog story. Other times, just completely arbitrary and capricious. And the reverse is true, where we'd also try to find a team that we dislike for no apparent reason. Maybe it's dumb, maybe it's legitimate. So we're going to give you some of those today. We're going to give you a mix of teams you should root for in these conference tournaments and teams you should root against. Before we dive into this, I do want to say one other thing. If you haven't seen it, we posted on social media. We have brackets for all of these conference tournaments. We
Very
have
pretty looking brackets, I might add.
well, thank you. If I agree, if I do say so myself, all 32 of these brackets that are available on our website, you can see what all the matchups are, the times, the TV, the teams, Literally everything you need to know, even where the game is being played. It's all there. There's also a printer-friendly version of it, as we talked about last week. I did not make the printer antagonistic version, which was just a black sheet of paper. That's still in the works. But we've really enjoyed. We got some messages from people on social media. We got a couple tweets from some people that had sent pictures of all these brackets that they printed out, which was really sweet. And like that's the whole point of why we're doing it. Like, we enjoy it, but it's also we're trying to give a resource to you basketball fans that you guys will enjoy. So that's awesome. One other thing, before we actually get into this list of hate love, our good friends, the Sickos Committee, brought up a very interesting question, because we shared with them our brackets. They were kind enough to retweet the Atlantic Sun bracket that's happening tonight. And they ask a good question, because the Atlantic Sun bracket, you've got these first round games that move into the quarterfinals. But once the quarterfinal round ends, the semifinals are reseeded, meaning that it's not a straight bracket. So if you look on the bracket itself, there's a space, and I listed out reseeded semifinals, because Eastern Kentucky, they're the 1 seed in this tournament. They'll play the worst team remaining, assuming they beat either Kennesaw State or Jacksonville in the quarterfinals. So the Sickos Committee was saying that they have some contention. Some people in the committee really like that. Some people really don't. But I'm curious your guys' thoughts. Johnny, you're already shaking your head. So what do you think about the reseeded format? Because the Horizon League does this too.
The worst. It's the worst.
What's the argument for it?
It also messes up the I'm sorry. I know it doesn't necessarily mess up the bracket.
No,
if you print it properly,
you know what?
It ruins the aesthetic of said bracket. And it ruins the aesthetic of it. I want to see if the 10 seed makes a run to the title game, I want to see the row.
Yeah.
I want to see the path of devastation that they created through the conference.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to see the blood and guts that they created by making a run to the title game. I do not need this reseeding stuff going on. No way. Josh, go. You're with me.
No, I'm with you. Imagine let's go back 10 years, 11 years, whenever Florida Gulf Coast was making their Cinderella run, Dunk City. Imagine if after the round of 64, they get reseeded and they're 9. How freaking boring is that? And then they're going to get squashed by whoever was 2 that year. It would, now they could still, again, because we don't know, but
they're making it easier on the upper seeds.
And that's, Josh, you ask why they're doing this. And that is the reason. It's to give a benefit to the teams that have earned it. I mean, the NFL literally does this. That is how the NFL playoff system goes.
If you you know what an easy time is? Winning your gosh darn games.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna pull up the Atlanta Sun right now. Who am I rooting for? If you want
to help out
who I'm rooting
the
for
top
now?
seeds?
I'm rooting for Florida, Jacksonville. I'm rooting for Jacksonville.
The 10th seeded Dolphins. Let's go.
Yeah, you know why? Because screw Eastern Kentucky. That's why.
There you
Earn
go.
it.
You don't like Colonel Sanders?
That's pretty much their mascot is Colonel Sanders.
Their mascot is basically Colonel Sanders.
No, Colonel Sanders. No, be original. Get your own thing.
All right.
I noticed you guys didn't have a hate category filled in.
I like all these teams.
Yeah, I'm adding Eastern Kentucky.
All right.
For my own vendetta.
If it wasn't for, we'll talk about the reason later. If it wasn't for me feeling very strongly about this, I would actually be cheering for Eastern Kentucky because it's literally Colonel Sanders.
Yes.
And fried chicken is probably my favorite food.
Yes.
So
that's copyright infringement.
And that's a perfect glimpse into some of the reasoning behind these teams that you should root for. It could be as simple as this tournament format sucks or I love chicken. That's the kind of content you're getting here today. So strap in.
Yes.
I've got one that's slightly more basketball related. The one I had written down was Florida Gulf Coast because just the nostalgia of 2013, just unbelievable. But if you are looking for an actual basketball reason, the North Florida Ospreys. Well, first of all, before we talk about the basketball reason, I do want to give a shout out to, I want to give a shout out to North Florida because you could be the Hawks, you could be the Eagles, you could be any generic bird, but they chose a specific water-based bird of prey.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Amazing.
The North Florida Ospreys. Now, not only is that a great mascot name, But their nickname
it's
for a
wrong.
team is the Birds of Trey. And why is that? It's because they are the only program in the country this season to shoot over 1,000 3-pointers this year. They have attempted, I will repeat, not a typo, 1,000 3-pointers this year. 103 more than second place BYU. Far and away the leaders. They attempt 33.6 triples per game. That's our good friends at Mid-Major Madness tweeting that little nugget out. So I'm going to root for the North Florida because the Birds of Trey. Think about it. The old adage is you live by the 3 or die by the 3. And that's no more true.
There's no other way. There's no other way to live.
There's no other way to live. So to me, North Florida is either losing their first game against Austin Peay by 1 billion, or they're winning the Atlantic Sun and making a Sweet 16 run, and there's no in between.
There's no in between. And they're
not beating, they're not losing to Austin Peay either. So they're making a run to the Sweet 16. All right.
You heard it here first. Sorry, they're the 5 seed. I think I said they were the 4 seed. They're the 5 seed. So they travel to Austin Peay. This Atlantic Sun tournament, by the way, is all campus sites. That's a note to point out there, because that number 1 seed Eastern Kentucky, they will be playing every game at home if they win. So there you go.
Know what the post game meal will be.
If it's not KFC, they're wrong. They are wrong. All right, let's move over to the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt it's a 14-team league. This is played at the Pensacola Bay Center in Pensacola, Florida. So this is a neutral site game as opposed to the campus sites. Every team showing up to Florida. So there's a lot of games to get to before App State and James Madison play their games. So before we share what teams we want to win, I'll just say that I personally, well, never mind. I'm going to rephrase that because that was silly. Future editing, Aaron. Guys, the team I'm rooting for in the Sun Belt, it's actually 2 of them. It's App State, who's the 1 seed, and James Madison, who's the 2 seed. And before you say, oh, Aaron, you're just rooting for the favorite, so you look good when your teams win. No, the reason is because I think, and Johnny, you can speak to this, I think both of these teams are deserving of a spot in March Madness, but will they actually get there? That's a whole different discussion. So talk about this tournament even just from a bracketology sense, because these 2 teams have been really good all year, but it may be that the winner of this tournament is the only team that gets in the dance.
Yeah. So if you follow college basketball, well, let me start with this. If you follow college football, it's pretty cut and dry, right? You have your power conferences, Big 10, ACC, SEC, Big 12, and you have your group of 5, if you will. Pretty cut and dry as far as, who's the power players and who isn't. College basketball, because it's more than twice as big, it's not even necessarily fair to grade conferences on a power conference or mid-major. There's too many. There always will be a slim middle that exists as well. And the Sun Belt's one of those conferences, much like the American Conference. This year, the Mountain West is a power conference, but many years, the Mountain West would fit that billing. The West Coast Conference, they fit that, okay, you're definitely better than the lowest league that we have. I'm not going to name names because we love all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're better than them, and you probably are deserving of more than 1 bid, but technically you're a mid-major, so we're only going to give you your automatic. So this year, you have currently, my last team in the field is Appalachian State at 26-5. They're first in the conference right now. They're 16-2 in conference. They beat Auburn this year. Like, very nice win. They also beat James Madison both times they've played so far. James Madison is my first team out of the tournament. So you want to talk bubble? They are literally squarely on the bubble. James Madison's 28-3. They're 15-3 in conference. The differentiating factor there is, even though they only have 1 bad loss, is they lost both games to App State, and App State also has that win against Auburn, which carries a lot of weight, for me at least. Realistically, when we're looking at how the cards fall when bracketology is all said and done, this conference is probably only getting 1 in, which I think is absolutely a shame. I definitely have both of these teams graded higher. Now, again, when you look at bracketology, most people do, they take out their perceived conference winners out of the bracketology mix. I leave mine in until it's actually claimed. So App State or James Madison, in all likelihood, one of them will win the tournament. But as Aaron pointed out, both of them really are more than deserving to be in, especially against teams that are going to have 13, maybe 14 losses total. You're going to leave out a 3 or 5 loss school from the Sun Belt who is more than quality and capable of winning games in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well said. Josh, ignoring those two teams, you've got a great reason for another team you should root for.
Yeah. Guys, for the Sun Belt, there's no team. I'm trying to hate in my heart.
We couldn't.
And I can't.
There's
I can't.
no
It's
team
the
here
Sun
that I
Belt. It's the
dislike.
Fun Belt.
Yep.
I want all of these teams to do well. Like
Yep.
Texas State, I love them. I want them to beat Baylor again in basketball somehow. Just kind of do that two-peat. ODU. I mean, how can you hate a mascot that strong?
You can't cheer against South Alabama or you hate USA.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep.
But the team that I have to, and then like even something like as generic in quotes as like Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Like
Are you kidding me?
That's fantastic.
Yep.
That's how can you root against that? But
there's
the
a
team
chili in the name.
It's right
the logo.
there.
Mm-hmm. The hyphen.
I'm
not a hyphen. Is that a
starving
hyphen?
right now.
Apostrophe? I don't know. I'm dumb.
Apostrophe.
Yes. Thank you.
I don't know English.
It's only
brilliant.
Greek.
Only Greek, and they didn't use it. They didn't have Cajuns in Greece, so I'm out of luck. The team that I'm going to be following in the Sun Belt is Troy, and this is my one rule for everything: if the name of the school can also be the name of like their own starting center, yeah,
yep,
I'm going to root for that team. So I'm going to root for Troy, the Troy Boltons.
Nice, I love it. All right, well, there's your Sun Belt. The Horizon League. The Horizon League, as previously discussed, reseeds both the quarterfinals and the semifinals. This conference is always of interest to especially Johnny and I because we literally live quite close to one of these teams. So we're rooting for them. But there's reasons to root for a team other than Wright State. What do you guys like in the Horizon League?
Wright State is low-hanging fruit.
For
we
us,
live
yes.
like 10 minutes
Very
from
close.
the campus.
Yes.
Like Aaron said, we're in the heart of Horizon League territory, not MAC, not Big Ten.
Yep.
Horizon League territory.
Correct.
We live in the heart of it. We need to cheer collectively for Detroit Mercy.
Yes.
Not just
No
the three of
question.
us, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
First off, they're 1-30 this year. 1-30. I mean, that's just Lord have mercy. Exactly.
Yeah.
They embody how depraved and lost all humanity is. And the need for mercy. Detroit Mercy. We're all cheering for them in this tournament. Get that second win. That's all we're asking for. Just the second win.
Yeah.
And they can do it. You know, they can beat Milwaukee. No, probably not. But give it your best shot.
Yeah. I can't take credit for this, but one of you guys put in a good root against team. So we talked about the NBA All-Star court, the LED court that blinded everybody. And yes. The opposite of that is what the Oakland Golden Grizzlies have. They have, Josh must be looking at it based on that reaction. They have
I put that in.
The court that well done, Johnny. The court that they play on is called the Blacktop. That's like their nickname for it. And it's like a very dark brown, dark grayish. And it looks okay in person. It does not translate well on TV. It
does not play.
Unless that's like your specific shade of color that's your favorite, you're going to have a tough time. And so that might give you instant reason to root against Oakland. I will say their head coach was giving Shamrock shakes to people at the McDonald's drive-thru, and so that was great. So kudos to them.
Okay.
So it's not like it's like a soft hate. You know what I mean? It's not like we like hate your guts.
Oh yeah, no.
But
this is not. We are not in the type of conferences where we're actively like hating.
If the court was actual blacktop, though, we would be cheering for them.
Oh yeah.
True.
Just to clarify that as well.
Absolutely gutsy move.
Yeah.
This is not like a root against again. Like I want them to, suffer. But man, the Indiana University of Purdue University Indianapolis campus.
Uh-huh.
Josh, could you say that again?
I don't want to. Indiana University of Purdue University Indianapolis campus, I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And man, too long. It's a palindrome.
Yes.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose. And I don't know how I feel about it because it's Yupui. And I don't like that.
I'll tell you, coming
either.
from Wright State Country, I worked there for a time.
Yupui.
Those that would like to poke fun at this school call it Ooey Pooey.
Ooey Pooey.
So there you go.
It's, and if you can be, if you don't even have to try that hard to get to that weird of a pronunciation, you have a marketing department, I'm sure, on campus. Either some sort of marketing communications or you have a marketing degree program. Just sit down with those guys, all the seniors this year, cancel all of their finals. Their new final project from now until May is come up with a better name for this school.
Yeah, agreed. All right, we previously discussed that the national anthem has to be royalty free, and we never got a copyright. So play that national anthem, because in the Patriot League, you should be rooting for either number 7 Navy or the 8th seeded Army. Both have a long stretch to go. They're both playing a first round game. You should root for Army and Navy. I don't feel like I even need to tell you why. But here's who you should root against. There's also a team in this Patriot League conference called American University. They're the 4 seed. They are the Eagles. And why should you root against them? It's because they're trying to be just as American as Army and Navy without putting in any of the work. Army and Navy, we know what they do for us. American University, they're just trying to just steal the patriotism from these schools and call themselves the American Eagles. They are literally trying to call themselves the American Eagles. I say root against American, root for the true teams in the Patriot League, Navy and Army. And also, if you want to root against Colgate, because it's the same guy as the toothpaste brand, you can. William Colgate. They're probably going to win it. They're the 1 seed. But
their mascot is wrong.
Yeah.
It's the Raiders.
Yeah. That's
stupid.
Incorrect. All right. Northeast Conference. This is just 8 teams. There's a team I want to highlight here. There is a new Division I team. There's actually 2 new Division I teams in this conference. Unfortunately, one of them did not make the cut. Only 8 of the 9 teams get in. Stonehill was unfortunately the 9th. But the 4 seed is the Lemoyne Dolphins. And I think that's just a great name. Lemoyne.
That's good.
That's exclusively my reason for that one.
Aaron, is it their first year?
It's their first year in Division I. So this now...
Good for Lemoyne.
Yes, good for Lemoyne,
job,
the
guys.
4 seed in this tournament. Now, here's where we get into this conversation that we've had in the past. There is a dumb NCAA transition rule that if Lemoyne wins this Northeast Conference, they do not go to the tournament. They are not eligible for, I believe it's the first 4 years that they are a Division I team. However, the number 2 seed in the Northeast is the Merrimack Warriors. And they have been subject to, they've actually been one of the biggest victims because they've been really good in the Northeast the last few years. They've been a high seed. This year, they're finally eligible. So Merrimack, the 2 seed, also root for them. Because if they win it this year, and they have in the past and not made it to the tournament, they've been the 1 seed in this tournament before. Go Merrimack.
And Aaron, just for everybody, if Lemoyne makes the final, it is the runner-up who gets to go, or the regular season champion who gets to go?
I believe it's the runner-up, but I know each conference is different with that.
Okay.
So that's a good question. I think it's the runner-up.
So hypothetically, you could cheer for both. Cheer for Lemoyne
true.
to win the tournament, and Merrimack gets to go by default.
Yep.
There it is.
It's possible. This is another reseeded semifinals kind of deal. So it's possible. Also, FDU, you might have heard of them from last year. They're the 5 seed in this tournament. So shout out to them.
Could be fun.
Yep. That's what I have to say about the Northeast. Guys, any thoughts on any other? There's a handful of other tournaments. We've got the Ohio Valley. We have the Big South, Missouri Valley, West Coast, Coastal, Southern, and Summit League. The reason I bring up those conferences is because we already know what the brackets look like. They're all available on our website. But any reason for any of these schools to root for or root against?
I will have a team to hate. Give me just a second. Johnny, if you want to go first.
Well, we would be remiss if we didn't mention one of our all-time favorite schools. And that is in the now Coastal Conference, of which Campbell is involved in. The Campbell Camels.
Yes.
And just Google Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, and enjoy. Just enjoy Campbell. We always cheer for the Camels.
Yep. With their mascot,
we'd love to see them
Gaylord
in the tournament.
Yep.
We want to see them there.
First year in the
I will
Coastal
also be
Athletic
cheering
Association.
Yes. And assuming that they're in it, which I don't even know if they include all of their teams, I will be cheering against William and Mary because two schools at once is cheap. So
They are, and they're the 13 seed, I believe, in this tournament.
yeah.
I will confirm.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, the 12 seed.
The seeds don't matter to us when we're choosing these guys.
Correct.
I try not to even look at the seed lines.
Yep.
It's basketball. Come on. What are you doing looking at seeds? And this is a great transition into a team that I'm going to be actively rooting against. And this is honestly a conference that I want dissolved until one major thing happens. Guys, the Ohio Valley Conference. How many teams in this conference are based out of Ohio?
Oh, that's a great point. 0.
Now, 0.
Yeah.
0.
Exactly. I realize we've talked about Big 10 and Big 12 and all that joke. We can have a lot of fun. Pac-2. Yeah, Ohio Valley Conference needs to be burned to the ground or otherwise restructured into something that is new. Because you know what? How bad it's gotten? Do you know who the number 1 seed is?
Yeah, I do. The Little
Do
Rock
you know how
Trojans.
Do you know how far away Little Rock is from Columbus? Just like
Josh,
the center of
all
Ohio.
I'm hearing is Ohio is truly starting to annex surrounding territory.
But
That's
no,
all
see,
I'm
here's the
hearing.
thing, and I appreciate your attempt at generosity here. This is a very gracious move on your part. Normally, it's us walking you back, and I appreciate you flipping the tables on this. If that were truly the case, then they had themselves have usurped what Ohio originally intended to do, because there is no central like emissary that they're reporting back to. They're completely like on their own here. They are not.
Where's
Ohio
conference
has no
headquarters?
control.
Is it still somehow in Ohio?
I'm
That'd
guessing
be
the
funny.
tournament's
Give me
always
one
been in
sec.
Evansville, and I'm guessing the headquarters are close there. And it's in Evansville this year too. I'll look.
Yeah. If it was in Ohio still, that would be hilarious.
That would be. I'm trying to think. When was the last time they had an Ohio team?
They've gotten raided so
I know.
often.
Tennessee,
hard to-
Brentwood.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
at least that's the address they have listed.
No, I'm
on
sure
their
that's right.
website.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's just
Wikipedia's
how
telling me
far
that
they've
too. It's got to
fallen.
be true. Now, Josh, I'm with you. I think something needs to be done here. I'm glad you've brought that to all of our attention. I do have an exception.
Okay.
And, you can almost call this like a Noah's Ark situation where God, kind of selected Noah's Ark to be spared from the flood. That's kind of what's happening here,
Yeah.
because I would like to select as my Noah, I would like to select Southern Indiana. For one, they're also a transitioning Division I team, and these teams just have a place in my heart because the NCAA stinks. The second thing is, we talked about the Ospreys earlier, the North Florida Ospreys, and why that's such a great name. Again, there's so many Eagles, there's so many Hawks, like UT Martin on this list, they're the Skyhawks. So a little bit better than just Hawks. Massachusetts State, they're the Eagles. Eastern Illinois, they're the Panthers. Tennessee State, you've got the Tigers. You've got a lot of very generic mascots. Even Little Rock, the Trojans, that's pretty generic.
Yeah.
We got Cougars on this list. Heck, they're almost all generic. Southern Indiana could have been just the Eagles, but they said no. We're going to be the Screaming Eagles, the Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles. That's
They're
fantastic.
Eagles.
Well done.
Eagles who scream.
Yep. So that's the team
great.
I'm selecting, that I'm going to save them from Josh's wrath. Everything else, Josh, you can destroy.
As I raise him to the ground, I will, like Rahab, select one home to not completely burn down.
Yes. Yes.
So then Indiana will become and as the annexation starts, Johnny was good to point out, this is part of the annexation process. So
Yeah.
I like this. What if Ohio University Bobcats, what conference are they in again?
They're in the MAC.
MAC.
Oh, the MAC's such a good conference.
Mhm.
We gotta find an Ohio
Perhaps
team
our
that's
alma mater could fill in
Oh,
Hmm.
that is a great idea. Cedarville becomes the new central headquarters for the rebuilt, refreshed Ohio Valley Conference.
Not to be confused with the Division II school, Ohio Valley, located in West Virginia.
Also,
Great point,
I'll give you that, because the Ohio Valley, I do like that. That is fine. That's West Virginia understanding where they came from. But
yes.
Oh, could I just, before we move on,
Yeah.
a couple shout outs
Yes.
to, since we want to burn one conference to the ground, to a few conferences that we love so much, we couldn't pick a team to cheer against. The first is Arch Madness, Missouri Valley.
Yes.
I mean, just guys, there's not a team to cheer against. And they've gotten, talking about conferences that have gotten rated. This is the conference that had Wichita State and Creighton going after each other. Loyola Chicago was in this conference for a long time. Great basketball conference. And they keep backfilling it really well. So we will be cheering for all involved. Drake's another one of those mid-majors.
Exactly.
The Missouri Valley's one of those conferences that I believe actually deserves 2 bids as well. In Indiana State with Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Drake.
My guy.
Love that conference. And then the Summit League. We love the Summit League here at Fifth and Goal Sports.
Yes,
we got
do.
Kansas City Roos. We got North Dakota Skyhawks. We talk about just, make it fun. Make it fun. The Jackrabbits, of course, of South Dakota State are here. The Bison. We love the Summit League here as well. So we will be cheering for all involved in those 2 conferences. There's just we love them too much to pick favorites.
Yeah, the Kansas City Roos, and the Roos is short for Kangaroos. Yes, it's exciting. They've never been to the NCAA tournament. They've been in Division I for a couple decades now, I think. Never been, and they're the 2 seed in the Summit League. Now, getting past South Dakota State, that is a big deal. That it's tough to do. Few have done it, but maybe they're the team. One other conference I'm watching. If you hate reseeded tournaments like we've described with the Northeast, the Horizon, the Atlantic Sun, to me the opposite of that is a gauntlet where if you're the 8 or 9 seed, well, actually it's not really the opposite. It's kind of the same thing. Anyways, if you're the 8 or 9 seed, you have to walk this gauntlet where basically there's just a step. It's like a bunch of steps up to the championship, where, like, I'm looking at the West Coast Conference right now. In the first round, there is one first round game. It is between the 8 and 9 seed. The winner of that game plays the 5 seed. The winner of that game plays the 4 seed. The winner of that game plays the 1 seed. And that game happens in the semifinals. So what am I saying? I'm saying the 1 and 2 seeds get buys all the way to the semifinals. So St. Mary's and Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference are only 2 wins away from getting the automatic qualifying spot for the West Coast Conference. At this point, I don't think either team needs it. I think they're probably in the tournament. Both of them are in the tournament regardless. But ironically, no team has won the West Coast Conference other than those 2 since 2008, and that's when San Diego did it. So it's been a long time. So maybe in this conference, because St. Mary's and Gonzaga, you already know they're going to be there. Just root for any of these teams. And there's some great ones to choose from. San Diego is one of them. Santa Clara, Steve Nash, the famous
Pacific.
Alumni. Yep, Pacific. Pacific fired their coach yesterday. They fired their coach yesterday. If Pacific wants to get to the NCAA tournament, it's real simple. All they got to do is take an interim head coach. It's real simple. You just got to take an interim head coach, Win 5 games in 6 days, and you'll make it to the NCAA tournament. So root for Pacific. They're the Tigers, or they're just an entire ocean. You decide. They played the Pepperdine Waves. An ocean certainly beats a wave if it's a mascot competition. Then they would have to beat San Diego, Santa Clara, and St. Mary's, and probably Gonzaga. It would be the most incredible run March has ever seen. So root for that.
Yeah. I don't even know if I would care about making it into the actual like big dance. Like that itself is fantastic.
Yeah, just end it there. Win the West Conference,
End it there.
West Coast Conference, and just
In that
ride off
manner.
into the sunset.
Oof.
Yep.
Refuse to elaborate.
Yep.
Get picked up by, I don't know, Boston College or something.
Yep. Otherwise, I think that's all I've got. Other than in the Big South, there's a team called the Presbyterian Blue Hose, and I do have to specify that is spelled HOSE. But
that we have to specify it. Come on,
yeah, but the fact that we have to specify means like that's sorry.
So we don't get that PG-13 tag on Spotify.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep. Sorry. You've had so many years to rebrand yourself, and you keep coming back. So
even Demon Deacons, is a less offensive name.
Yeah, that's very true
at this point.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll move into picks of the week. All right. We're moving segments, but we're not changing subjects because we are going to pick. We've given you so many teams to root for, but we're actually going to sit here and talk about picks that we think are going to win these conference championships. But before we do, let's run it back to last week. Last week, Creighton beat Marquette. I unfortunately picked Marquette. I also did not know that Tyler Kolek, the reigning Big East Player of the Year, was not going to play in that game. So my pick would have been different, but that's on me for either not knowing or just the way it happens. So that means, and Johnny and Josh, you got it correct. So that means our scoreboard currently reads with a foot-long cookie on the line. Johnny with 7 points. I've got 5 points. Josh with 2. So Johnny's starting to pull ahead, and we're about the halfway point of the season. So I need to make a run. Josh needs to make a run quick here to not let Johnny run away with this thing. So,
and what better time to do a run than with the greatest run of all, basketball.
If it had been about a cookie, I would have been dominating this whole time.
Yep. Just that added motivation is working. What, 7 points in 8 weeks? That's crazy.
Man,
that's crazy. So we're
unprecedented because we've never done this before.
Yeah, exactly. So we're picking a conference. Actually, one of the conferences. So we're picking a conference that is happening in kind of week 1. There's really 2 weeks of conference tournaments. There's a bunch of them that end on Saturday. So we're picking those. We may very well pick another conference next week. Stay tuned. We'll see what we end up picking. Although I think next week we could also be picking baseball potentially.
Oh,
because there's a couple, not to spoil anything, but there's a couple of early MLB games taking place in South Korea between the Dodgers and the Padres. So we don't want to miss out on that. But for now, guys, I'm going to pick the Colgate Raiders. Bad mascot choice. They should have been something toothpaste related. But the Patriot League has really run through Colgate for the last few years. They are the 1 seed again. Even there's kind of the model of consistency. And so I'm picking them. I think they've got a nice path to winning this thing in the Patriot League. Again, they're playing Navy or Loyola. That'd be either the 7 seed or the 10 seed. Then they're facing American or Bucknell in the semis, and then any number of teams in the championship game. But this is also one that is a campus site tournament. So it's not only that Colgate's the 1 seed, it's not only that they'll have, in theory, better matchups, but as long as they keep going, they're going to have a home game the entire way. There's a couple days of rest in between every round. So I think this tournament is just advantageous to the Raiders, claiming the championship on March 13th. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network, for those that want to tune in.
Sorry, I was looking at what I'm going to follow. It got way deeper than I thought. I am picking the Missouri Valley Conference to follow specifically, and specifically, I'm going with my old faithful Drake.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Again, I pick based on could the name of the school be your starting forward. They can, and I was going between that and Bradley, and I'm like, Bradley is not a name anymore that I would see as likely. I could see a Drake. So I don't know what that means, but Drake, please do it for me.
I like it.
Give me a point.
Go
Give me
Bulldogs.
2 points in 2 weeks. Go Bulldogs.
Aaron, do we have to pick from one of the conferences we talked about today?
No, as long I was just thinking week 1, so that way we're not waiting like 3 weeks for a point to happen. So either one that you've got listed there. No, you're good. Either that one's fine because that one.
Oh, it is fine.
That's a week 1 bracket.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I thought it was. I have Vermont, the Catamounts.
Let's go.
Yes.
They run the American
It is such a
East,
Vermont, I love that.
Yeah, it is. Vermont runs the America East Conference. Like, they win it every year.
Mm-hmm.
The only year they didn't win it was when UMBC beat them at the buzzer and then famously beat Virginia. Vermont never ends up winning in the NCAA tournament, despite the fact that they're usually given a 12 through 14 seed. They're not even a 15 or 16 seed oftentimes. So here's also to me hoping Vermont actually makes some noise in the NCAA tournament this year. Knock somebody off in the first round, and they get to have some fun outside of just winning their conference every year.
That's a good one. And because Gonzaga did not win the West Coast Conference this year, that went to St. Mary's, Vermont has the nation's active streak with 7 regular season championships in a row. So you're right, Johnny. That's probably as safe as a bet as possible when it comes to conference tournaments. Because not only do they win the regular season, you mentioned it, they also go to the conference championship game and usually win it as well. I am trying to remember if that one's campus sites. I think it is. So that's also
it is campus. It's campus sites.
Yeah, that's helpful. All right. I'm honestly still looking for what I'm following. So if,
I could start.
Sure.
All right. What I am following, I know, guys, I know it's March Madness. It's basketball season. I'm loving it too. So it's not like I'm throwing a total wrench into it. But let's take a step back. What also is going on right now, in the States at least, is soccer season starting. Spring soccer. We love spring soccer. In England, of course, they've been playing through the winter, and we are going down to the getting down to the finale right now for the Premier League title race. And it is wild. It is the first time ever it's been this late in the title race where you have 3 teams with 60 or more points. Right now, we have Liverpool at 63. We have Manchester City at 62 and Arsenal at 61. They have all played 27 games. So it is a fight to the finish. There's still plenty of games left. It is an even schedule, unlike any league we play here pretty much. There are 20 teams in the Premier League, meaning 19 others. You play each one home and away. So there will be 38 games total. There's still plenty of games left for these teams to finish out. So Arsenal already and Liverpool, they're already done playing each other. Arsenal and Manchester City still play each other one more time. That will be on Easter Sunday. So that's going to be absolutely insane. The next game up, though, for Liverpool and Manchester City is this Sunday against one another. A titanic clash. It's just an absolutely insane title race. If you enjoy watching that last weekend of MLS soccer to see who gets into the title, if you enjoy watching the last games of the NBA season to see who's in the play-in game, who's not, who gets left out totally, you want that extrapolated, this is the league and title race for you this season. It's absolutely insane. As I mentioned, they're separated literally by 2 points. At this point, even a draw is absolutely devastating to any team. Arsenal has just been going scorched earth on everyone. They won 6-0 today against Sheffield United, who are, as the Brits love to call it, adrift in the 20th spot. They will be getting relegated. Sorry, Blades. But I'm repping my Arsenal jersey today because they won 6-0 in that game. The games before, they beat Newcastle 4-1. They beat Burnley 5-0. They beat West Ham 6-0. And they beat Liverpool 3-1. So they have been just going crazy since the start of the new year. It'll be a fun fight to the finish. Manchester City's won four in a row. Got to see if Liverpool or Arsenal can take them out. Starts this Sunday.
Yeah. Mine's also sport related because apparently I haven't talked about enough college basketball. But the reason why I'm bringing up this thing specifically is because the days of the 6-way Big Ten West football tie have unfortunately come to an end because the Big Ten West dead in football. Now they're getting revenge in basketball. If you look at the conference standings in the Big Ten, it is literally, or at least before yesterday's games were played, it is literally all 7 Big Ten West teams in places 1 through 7. You love to see it. In the SEC, we have a potential 5-team shared regular season title. And it would be between, here it is. Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn, and Kentucky could all share the SEC regular season title. All we need is for 8 games to finish exactly the way we need them to. So tomorrow we need Florida to beat Alabama. We need Auburn to beat Missouri. I will tell you, Auburn will beat Missouri. Missouri, very bad. Wednesday, we need South Carolina to beat Tennessee. That could be tricky. Not impossible. And Kentucky beat Vanderbilt. Kentucky will beat Vanderbilt. Saturday, this is where it gets a little spicy. You need Alabama to beat Arkansas. You need Mississippi State to beat South Carolina. You need Kentucky to beat Tennessee. So that's 2 straight losses for Tennessee here, if you're following. And then Auburn to beat Georgia. So it's actually not like totally crazy because you do need losses by the likes of Missouri, Tennessee, Georgia, some teams that are not super good. But you also need Tennessee to lose twice, and that's where this thing probably falls apart. But I just want to bring it to your attention because these kind of things happen all the time. Usually they go by the wayside and nothing actually happens, but you're telling me there's a chance.
Guys. You ever been to Scotland? Because neither have I.
I have not.
So I don't want to come across as culturally insensitive if this is something that they are more okay with doing. And second off, I do want to ask you guys. I know we're like, an hour? We're 52 minutes into my recording. But I do want to ask you guys a little bit of, maybe some small talk now that we're into the podcast.
Yeah.
You guys watch any movies lately? Not this past weekend. We're not going to talk about the big one. But did you watch maybe a movie over Christmas time about a young chocolatier?
I did not, but I know what you're talking about.
I didn't. Yeah.
Neither did I. So, and I think
okay,
we share something in common with what I'm about to say.
All right, great.
Because apparently that movie did.
Oh,
the movie did well enough.
I know where this is going.
But more importantly, a guy in Scotland also was incredibly inspired by the whimsical, mischievous mind of Timothy Chalamet's enrapturing Willy Wonka, I'm sure. And decided to make his own unlicensed, unofficial, unwanted, unneeded interactive experience called Willy's Chocolate Adventure, which just gets around copyrights. And as someone who's worked at organizing events, I literally spent about 8 hours today working on organizing some events for this week on campus, just making sure all the everything was just ready to go. You have to hire people, you have to organize people, you have to make sure people know what's going on. And so this guy put out a help wanted ad in the local papers, whatever they use there, saying, "Hey, I'll pay you 500 Great British pounds if you will come and be one of the actors." And I think he hired like 4 or 5 actors. And then when they got there, they were given such names as Willie McDuff, Wonky Doodle 1 and Wonky Doodle 2
Stop.
and The Unknown.
Wonky Doodle is what I call my March Madness bracket by like
Yes.
2 p.m. on Thursday.
2 p.m. Thursday. And they were given a 15-page script that was most certainly written by AI, because when was the last time that you watched a Willy Wonka movie that involved a villain trying to steal, quote, Willy McDuff, copyright, Willy McDuff's anti-graffiti gobstoppers in the script. There were AI generated images in the advertisements, and you can tell they were AI because the words stopped making sense pretty soon after. The big one, I think it just said chocolate or something. I'm going to pull it up real quick because it's too important not to.
Gosh,
Mention.
why did they need 15 pages of a script?
Here's the thing: if you've ever played with like ChatGPT, and this is not the first time I've talked about AI, you can just tell it what to do, and it'll when it makes it, you don't realize maybe how long it is until you go to actually print it out, and you go, "Oh crap, this is way too long."
And a lot of times those scripts are like double spaced, like relatively large font, just because you are supposed to be able to read it.
Yes. I'm going to send this to you guys. It's too important. I think you guys have already seen this, but if not, you just have to.
I saw a little bit of it.
Yes.
All of you who have not seen it, you need to see pictures of this place.
And it's, again, we can share it because this was AI generated. There's no copyrights. On the top of it, it's like a guy with like candy, and it's very whimsical. In this poster, I'm going to say it as best as I can say it. In Chair-Inning Entertainment, cat gacting live performances, Kirchi Tons, XR lollipops, and a Pasadise of sweet. I don't know if I can say that on the radio. And so you would have thought, okay, this is just looking weird. But they charged 35 pounds a piece for parents to come and take their kids. They were promised a whimsical adventure full of whatever AI garbage that was. They were promised chocolates. They were promised all these things. Well, they get in to an empty warehouse that has some like paper mache rainbows and hastily made posters on the walls. And the unknown, who turns out looks a lot like every villain in a horror movie. He is all black with a silver mask, and he pops out from behind a mirror and scares 5-year-olds. Like, that is his only job.
Yep.
At the end of it, and this is where I first saw it, he hired 2 Wonky Doodles to be, I guess, the Oompa Loompas. The copyright-free Oompa Loompas, and these poor women.
Walmart brands, the Temu Oompa Loompas. Oh no!
And I say that the actresses. I read some of they were just as bean boozled as all of us.
Yep.
But they were told to read whatever the heck the script was, and then hand out halfway full cups of lemonade and a few jelly beans to every child, which after a few hours, they ran out of both. And parents became so enraged at the shoddy workmanship, the weird script, the unknown, and the lack of even jelly beans to give their kids. They called the police, and within 4 or 5 hours, it was shut down.
Yep.
This is fantastic. And then I started reading articles about who organized this. And who organized this was a group called... Wait, where did it even go? Because this is what it is. You're going to love... I would not have guessed this. It was founded by a guy named Billy something. No one cares. Billy Cool, who in November,
Is that his given Christian name?
it's Coull, so I'm
No,
butchering it. It's
still no.
probably it's like Billy Cool.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Man behind Willy Wonka experience apologizes, denies using events to pay for wedding. In November.
What? I did not know that part.
In November of last year, he filed an LLC, register whatever you do over in Scotland, to make the company House of Illuminati, which is not who I want making my Willy Wonka knockoff experience. I mean, it is and isn't.
I was gonna say, well,
and apparently, I looked on the website.
There'd be lots of whimsy, Josh. Lots of whimsy.
A lot of wonder of whether or not I'm slowly going insane, because I read some of the things on the website, and my goodness, it all feels AI generated, and I just feel like I'm living in a really weird, like, it made me feel so weird. He denies using the money to pay for his wedding. There will be no wedding. Oh, this is regarding a personal matter. I don't even know. No one brought this up. I think he just, in the interview, just brought it up. He's like,
self-report.
Regarding a personal matter, the statement said, there will be no wedding, and no wedding was funded by the ticket sales.
Oh, boy.
This is a difficult time for me, and I ask for your understanding and privacy.
Boy.
I am committed to rectifying the situation.
On social media, and the cops can just literally pull up their phone and be like, it's right here, and it's from you.
Yes. Yeah, apparently the actors and actresses have not been paid as of the writing of this article, which was March 1st. So this was 3 days ago. It's not like he paid a ton of money, like £500. Like, that's a good amount of money. Like, the guy's got to have, like, what, with all the things, he's got to have $5,000 laying around to pay everybody. Hopefully.
I don't know, Josh. Did you see that set?
I did see that set.
The actual, like, decorations and everything was the worst part for me, but
I mean, our Vacation Bible School growing up put that to shame.
I was gonna say, when we did Boy Scout summer camps, those looked so much better.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. He also is an author. He published 16 books in 2023. Do you know how? He used AI.
Oh no.
Rolling
Those
Stone,
have to be the most unreadable pieces of garbage that I definitely may read.
Okay, here it is. Here's the one you want to do. Operation Inoculation. Unveiling unveiling a hold on. This is what it is, and you can tell that it was AI generated. Operation Inoculation, unveiling a conspiratorial journey into vaccination truth's deep state conspiracy.
He didn't even get the subtitle right. Oh, buddy.
He didn't even edit the subtitle. He went generate a conspiracy theory type book on the vaccines.
Dude's cheap and lazy.
Went copy all. Went copy paste send. How much is it? I'm gonna guys. I have $5 in Amazon money.
No, don't do it, Josh. Don't do it.
Josh, I think I know why the wedding didn't go through.
He needs the money.
This dude's cheap as crap.
Yeah.
He probably got AI.
Probably would have AI'd his vows.
Yeah.
Yep. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe even AI'd the proposal. Who knows? So
I'm gonna see. He may have pulled everything. Because nope, it's not. It is out of print. Out of print? No, give me an ebook. Screw you. I'm getting an ebook. He pulled it. Dang
Josh,
it.
while you work on buying AI generated text, if you're looking for something good to read, might I suggest our Major League Baseball preview magazine that's coming out later this week. So keep an eye out on social media for when that goes live. But it's free. It is very much not AI generated. It's great for baseball fans anywhere on the spectrum of you're just getting into the sport to you're a fanatic. So that's good reading. Back to bad reading, Josh.
You guys, please. I can't. You guys, there's no way to find this unless someone has already copied this and posted it on the internet. But my action statement for you
yes,
is to read the Hidden Bible. is to find and read the hidden Bible. Except
No.
on the cover is spelled correctly, but on the Amazon listing, it's the hidden Bibile,
Mm.
the hidden Babile.
Is that because the Bible is copyrighted?
Last
Or
I
maybe he
checked.
was afraid. He
I've
was
only-
afraid the Bible was copyrighted. so
just
he
in case
wanted
the
to
Bible
make
was
sure.
copywritten. ChatGPT wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a captivating tale of mystery and discovery unfolds as Emily, a curious and determined protagonist, so glad that I know,
Man.
stumbles upon a forgotten manuscript that holds the key to unlocking ancient secrets. Against the backdrop of enigmatic symbols and echoes of antiquity.
I mean,
I don't
Paul
know.
loves swinging that DMCA hammer.
Yes,
Him
I'll
and
support him on this one.
Paul and
Moses.
Timothy, known as being the most
Yep.
aggressive
Mhm.
copyright guys.
Yep.
Prepare to be captivated by a story that challenges the very fabric of existence while celebrating the unyielding spirits of human exploration. I gotta find this. This is my action statement.
Mm.
Get this for me. I'll pay you up to $10.
Wow. All right. I got
to
it in this
10 up to
podcast, so
10
I
American
can try to get the
dollars.
money. Yep. All right. Well, there's your action
Uh,
statement.
Verbal contract. If one of you guys finds it for me, I no longer then have to pay for
Yeah.
your cookie.
Ooh. Okay. We'll take it. The council will take it into consideration at our next round table meeting.
Yes. I keep missing the Outlook invite for that. I think you have my email out of date.
Probably. Or it's because Outlook's the worst.
It's
The
because it's
worst.
The worst. All right. Straight to jail, Microsoft Outlook. I don't know why.
Straight to jail,
I'm just
Microsoft.
in a mood. That's
this is like the 15th time we've sent them to jail.
Yeah, probably. It won't be the last. All right. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really hope you enjoy all the basketball that's here. Again, I said it at the beginning. I'll say it again. I think our brackets that we have on the website are great, and they're literally made for you. They're free to download, print, fill out, share with your friends, post on social media. Do whatever you want. We also have a schedule for when all the tournaments are happening on Twitter as well. So every day in the morning, you'll see a little tweet that goes up, and it shows you what conferences are playing that day and what level. Like today, it was a little lonely graphic, but just the Atlantic Sun just hanging out all by itself in the first round. Next week, the Atlantic Sun, that too. Tomorrow, the Atlantic Sun has some friends joining it. So be on the lookout for that. If you don't follow us on Twitter, we highly encourage it. We're at Fifth Goal Sports Twitter. And by highly encourage, we also warn you that we put the same stream of consciousness that you've been listening to for the last hour online there as well. So there's your warning, but do it. We'd love to talk to you there as well. Listeners, have a great rest of your week. It's March. Enjoy the basketball. We'll see you next time.
I hope this is actually something Jacksonville University uses. Our friend Roger Sherman on Twitter tweeted out
I
when
saw
the first game started, Dolphins country, let's breach. And that's just, so good. It's outstanding.
Love the Dolphins. No offense, Kennesaw, but I'm rooting for the Dolphins. I got to watch that after this.
And I like owls.
Yeah, I do
Owls
too.
are very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quite the fall from grace for Kennesaw, though, because they were the 1 seed and won that tournament last year. Now they're the 8, 9, something like that. So
Life gets at you fast in the mid-majors.
yeah, it does.
That's what they say.
Who's they? Who says?
You know, them,
The guys.
the guys. You know, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You not hearing?
The same guys when it's like guys rule.
Yes.
Or the hell yeah.
I love those.
Yes. It's so good.
That's my favorite.